Good morning, students. Today we are going to see about human genetics. As shown in the clipping, the son is more or less resembling the father, and the second picture is the daughter is more or less resembling the mother. But there are certain features which are different. When you see the mother and the daughter, the color of the hair is quite different. When it comes to the male photo, the Shah Rukh Khan and his son, you may see certain minute features which are differing from the father. So, majority the characteristics, that is the external characteristics as well as the mental power, both are transmitted from the parents to the child. The proportion and the dominance and recessive characters differs. Yes, so the transmission of characteristics from one generation to the another or the next generation, that is from the parents to the child, is called as inheritance or hereditary, and that which is transmitted is going to be the gene or the subject of transmission. What is transmitted from one generation to the other? The gene is transmitted. So that passage, the process of transmission, is called as inheritance or hereditary. The fundamental unit of inheritance is gene. Yes. So with this, the transmission is taking place. Gene is transferred. Gene is going to be the genetic code which is going to carry the characteristics. Rapidly, it cannot code. Rapidly, it cannot process. There will be some statistical law governing the transmission. So, all together, when it comes to the definition of human genetics, we can tell as the study of gene and the statistical law that governs the passage of genes from one generation to the next is called as genetics. Branches of genetics includes the following. The first one is the cytogenetics, that deals with the study of chromosomes, and it provides the cytological explanation of different genetic principles. Coming to the molecular genetics, it includes the study of chemical structure of gene at molecular level. This is also includes the study of functions of gene and regulation of its activities. The third branch will be biochemical genetics, wherein which we see about metabolic process at each stage are controlled by enzymes which produced is under control of a gene, and this branch deals with the inborn errors of metabolism. The fourth branch will be the cancer genetics. The cell cycle is under genetical control. There are many checkpoints which controls the progress of cell cycle from one stage to the next. The mutation of these checkpoints lead to various types of cancers, and the study related to that is called as the cancer genetics. The fifth one is going to be the immunogenetics, that which deals with the immunological phenomenon of an individual under the control of the gene. The sixth is the developmental genetics, and this deals with the genetic control of embryonic development. The behavioral genetics deals with the influence of genes on the behavior of an individual, and finally comes to the population genetics. It is concerned with the law of genetics acting on human population. This branch deals with frequencies of genes in human population and the rate at which they are mutates. There are certain common terminologies used in genetics which we should be knowing. The first one is the human genome. Human genome is nothing but the complete set of genetic information encountered as DNA within 23 chromosome pair in nuclei and mitochondria. Next is the karyotype. Karyotype is nothing but the number and visual appearance of the chromosome in the cell nuclei of an organism or a species. Karyogram, or it is also called as the ideogram, the diagram or a photographic representation of the chromosomes of a cell arranged in homologous pair and in numbered sequence. Next is the genes, what you people know. It is the functional unit. It is the basic physical and functional unit of hereditary, made up of DNA, which act as instructions to make protein or RNA molecules. In human, the gene varies in size from a few hundred DNAs base to more than 2 million bases. Humans have about 25,000 genes as such. Next is about locus. Locus is nothing but the specific location of a gene on a chromosome. Allele. Allele is the alternative form of a gene, that we cannot compare with a mutation, but is the altered formation of the gene. Next is the genotype. The genetic constitution of an individual is called as genotype. The observable characteristics of an individual is called as phenotype. Then what is dominant? Dominant means it is expressed in heterozygotes, that is one allele present. One modification is only present, that is dominant. Recessive means it is expressed in homozygotes, two alleles necessarily. And what is mutation? Any permanent heritable change in the sequence of a genome DNA. And lastly, the epigenetic. Epigenetic is the factor that can affect the phenotype without changing in the genotype. Chromosome is present in the nucleus. When we take a cell, the cell consists of cytoplasm and the nucleus. The nucleus consists of the chromosomes. The chromosomes will be having the genetic material DNA, which is going to carry the information. When we see the nucleus of a non-dividing cell, that is during the interphase, below at the right corner you can see the nucleus at the level of interphase. What happens there is the cell contains the strands of material called as chromatin. Chromatin is nothing but it is dispersed throughout the nucleus and shows both coiled as well as extended portions. The coiled portions will be darkly stained and the extended region will be lightly stained. The dark stained area within the nucleus is called as heterochromatin and the light stained area are known as euchromatin. So we know the genetic material present within this is going to be called as DNA or the deoxyribonucleic acid. So at the time of cell divisions, the chromatin strand condenses into a compact structure by helically tight coiling and is called as the chromosome. The chromosome is visible as a thick rod-like structure during cell division. At the end of the cell division, it again uncoiled to form chromatin. The number of chromosomes in a species is going to be constant, and in human being, the somatic cells are 46 in numbers and they are represented as 2n or diploid set, two sets. When it is single set or haploid set means during the time of gamete formation. At the formation of gamete, either the sperm or the ovum are reduced in numbers of chromosomes such a way there will be 23 autosomes plus one sex chromosome will be present and that is represented as N. So the diploid set is represented as 2N, the haploid set is represented as N. The haploid set is appreciated only during the gametogenesis. Then the fusion takes place immediately the chromosomes will be converted to diploid set. Yes. So make sure that we consist of 46 chromosomes among which 22 pairs are going to be autosomes and one pair is going to be sex chromosome. Shows about the karyotype wherein which the 46 chromosomes are represented in pairs. When you see 22 pairs of autosomes are represented and one pair of sex chromosome. If that one pair of sex chromosome is XY, then that particular karyotype belongs to a male. If the X chromosome present is double X or the homomorphic pair, then that represents to a female. If there is any disturbance in either of the autosomes or the sex chromosome, if there is an addition of a chromosome or a deletion or mutation, those leads to disease condition. The chromosome is visible only under the microscope. The average size of human chromosome at the metaphase is around 5 mm, and only during that phase we will be able to appreciate the full form of it. However, when the DNA in the chromosome is extended during the interphase, they measure few meters in length. This indicates that they become highly coiled and tightly coiled and they form a rod-like structure during metaphase. The shape of it differs during different phases of the cell cycle. When it comes to the structure of the chromosome, their chromosome consists of pair of chromatids, that is sister chromatids. They are connected in the center by means of the centromere. Centromere is going to be the lightly stained area and is also called as the primary constriction in the chromosome, that which is going to divide the whole lot of the chromatids into a P and a Q arm. The short arm is going to be called as the P and the long arm is consecutively called as the Q arm. Sometimes on both or at one arm of the chromosome, they are marked by a constriction other than the primary constriction, and it is called as the secondary constriction. That area which is called as the nucleolar organized region and is associated with the nucleolus and its formation. That place, that the constriction, the region which is distal to the constriction is called as the satellite. The position of the centromere, that is the primary constriction, is different in different chromosomes but is always constant for a given chromosome. The length of the chromosome, the presence or absence of the satellite are the two parameters used to identify the chromosome. When it comes to the still more details about the chromosomes, we will be seeing about the classification of chromosome under various headings. The classification of chromosomes can be made with the position of the centromere. It can also be done with the grouping of the chromosomes. We will see the detailed structure of the grouping of chromosomes in the next slide. Coming to the classification of chromosomes, we study it under two headings. First one is based on the position of the centromere. Second one is standard classification, grouping according to the length of the chromosomes. Based on the position of the centromeres, we classify into four types. First one is the telocenter, there in which the chromosomes have centromere at one end and thus have only one arm, and it is not in human beings. Second one is the acrocenter. The position of the centromere is very close to one end so that one arm is very short and the other one is long. Third one will be the submetacenter, where the centromere is slightly away from the center so that two arms are of unequal length. And finally comes the metacenter. In this type of chromosome, the centromere is located nearly in the center of the center, and so the two arms are almost equal in length. standard classification. It is also called as Denver's classification. All the chromosomes, that is the 44 autosomes and 2 sex chromosomes, are classified in 7 groups as per their descending length. The groups are from A to G. The female sex chromosome X is included in group C and the male chromosome Y is grouped in G. When you take the first, second and the third chromosomes are grouped under A for both male and female. The autosomes of both male and female are grouped similarly only. Group A consists of first, second and third set of chromosomes and B consists of fourth and fifth. The C group consists of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 chromosomes. The D group consists of 13, 14 and 15. The E group consists of 16, 17 and 18. The F group consists of 19 and 20. G group consists of 21 and 22. When it comes to the X chromosome and the Y chromosome, the X chromosome is grouped under C and the Y chromosome is grouped under G. In the following conditions, the chromosomal analysis are underwent. When there is a congenital malformation or the person is mentally retarded or if a lady is getting a repeated abortions and for sex determination and in prenatal diagnosis, we will be undergoing chromosomal analysis. The tool or the chromosome is studied with the help of karyotyping. The chromosomal constituent of an individual is called as karyotype. The karyotype is also used to describe the photomicrograph of an individual chromosome arranged in a standard manner. We have already seen about the standard classification, the arrangement of the chromosome. In this order only we arrange it, and with the difference in the length or the number of the chromosome, we will be finding the fault in the chromosomes at which level, either at the autosomal level or at the sex chromosomal level the problem is, and then we will rule out for the genital deformities. And I have already told the karyotyping is the process used and the karyogram or the ideogram is the instrument used or the diagram or the photogram used to study the karyotype. Karyotyping is the process to obtain the karyotype of an individual. For that, the common site of blood from where we take will be the lymphocytes from the peripheral blood. We can also take the samples from the amniotic fluid or from the chorionic villi or from the fibroblast from the skin or the chorionic villi. But common site will be the peripheral blood. 5 ml of the blood will be collected in a sterile condition and the lymphocytes are separated off from the red cells and the white cell suspension is then put into the cultural vial. The culture vial will be coated with the cultural media and the fetal calf serum to help nourishing the lymphocytes. Then what happens? The vial is then incubated for 2 to 3 days. Probably it will be incubated for 2 to 3 days. At the end of the third day, uh, the vial to the vial we add colchicine for preventing the metaphase to continue. We are stopping at the state of the metaphase. And because we know at that point the chromosomes are maximum condensed and can be easily visible. After 2 hours of adding the colchicine, the lymphocytes are then separated and is centrifuged. These cells are then treated with hypotonic saline and this particular process causes the cells to swell and the chromosomes to get separated. The cells then are fixed by adding the glacial acetic acid and methanol. The cells suspended in fixators are then dropped in the chilled slide from a height. They are dropped from a height. This helps the rupture of the cell wall so that the chromosomes can be separated in a large area. This metaphase spread is going to be the tool for us to study about the karyotype of the individual. The slide is then stained and microphotographed, and then it is studied under it is studied under the microscope. The chromosomal disorders are classified under two main headings. The first one will be the numerical abnormalities, where the numbers of chromosomes may be added by one or two, or decreased by one or two, or added with two or more sets of chromosomes. And in structural abnormalities, slight modification in the structure of the chromosome will be appreciated. Under the numerical abnormalities, we may classify it into aneuploidy and polyploidy. In structural abnormalities, we classify into deletion, duplication, inversion, translocation, and mutation. The difference between the aneuploidy and the polyploidy we should know. Aneuploidy is the presence of an abnormal number of chromosomes. That is, the perfect diploid number will not be appreciated. But when you see in polyploidy is the presence of more than two homologous chromosome sets. That is, if there is normally we have 23 pairs, there may be one or two pairs additionally present in that particular case. But in the aneuploidy, it may have more, that is 47 or 48 chromosome, or it may have less, 45 chromosomes also. Aneuploidy is more common in human. Polyploidy is rare in human. Examples for aneuploidy is nullisomy, monosomy, disomy, trisomy, and tetrasomy. And there are also different types. Here, when it comes to polyploidy, it is divided into triploidy, tetraploidy, hexaploidy, octaploid, dodecaploid, etc. Aneuploid, the causes of the chromosomal disorders, some of them are lethal. In polyploidy, the triploid and the tetraploid situations are lethal. In general, we know we human being consist of 46 chromosomes. If there is one chromosome defects, the cell with a missing chromosome will have 45 chromosomes, and in general that particular condition is called as monosomy because here one particular chromosome is not having pair, so monosomy. For that, a good example will be Turner syndrome. If you see 45X chromosome, what happens here is instead of XX, only one X will be present. That leads to the condition called as Turner's syndrome. We will discuss about the disease conditions, the genital deformities in the upcoming sessions, but make sure now you know about what is monosomy and what is trisomy, what is polysomy, what is tetrasomy. So monosomy is one particular chromosome is not having pair, there will be a deletion. Best example for that is Turner syndrome, which instead of double X is having only one X. That the ratio of it is 1 in 2500 females. This particular syndrome, the Turner syndrome, is appreciated. When it comes to the trisomy, there what happens? A cell which has three copies of the chromosome instead of two means it is condition called as trisomy. Tri means three. So instead of a pair, we have one more. So there are three chromosomes at a particular level. For that, we have many examples. Trisomy 21. That means the autosome 21 level, there are three chromosomes, And if that particular 21st place is affected, that is Down syndrome. It is the ratio of its prevalence is 1 in 700. And trisomy 18 is called as Edwards syndrome. The ratio is 1 in 3000. The trisomy 13 is Patou syndrome. It is prevalent in 1 in 15,000. So we know the example for monosomy is Turner syndrome, wherein which one X chromosome is absent. There is only 45X, one deficient. Instead of 46 chromosomes, we have only 45 chromosomes. What is deficient there? One X is deficient. That ratio is 1 in 2500 females. When it comes to one more chromosome added to a pair, there will be 3. So trisomy. If it is the point of 21 or at the level of 21st chromosome level, then it is called as Down syndrome. If it is at the 18, it is called as Edwards syndrome. If it is at the 30th place, it is the Porter syndrome. You should be very sure about the place. 45X means Turner syndrome. Trisomy 21, if anybody asks, it should conclude as Down syndrome. Trisomy 18, Edwards syndrome. Trisomy 13 is Patou's syndrome. Yes, and coming to the tetrasomy, if the individual is having two more chromosomes, that is 4 altogether is present. Instead of 46 plus 4, 46 plus 4, 50 will be there, the chromosomes. Then it is called as the tetrasomy. I think you people are very sure about these conditions because these four are going to be the very important karyotype, also your exam point of view question. This particular syndrome, the Turner syndrome, is an example for monosomy, the absence of one chromosome. The genotype is X or XO. It is monosomy, I have told. One chromosome is less. The phenotype is female, but very poor secondary sexual character development will be present. And this particular slide will be showing the karyotype of the Turner syndrome. This chart alone will be displayed for you in your practical examinations with the absence. You should observe all the chromosomes and you should see which one is not paired or which one is having an additional chromosome. If you see the slide, you may focus instead of double X, only one X chromosome is present, another X chromosome is not present, which is encircled in red color. So with this only you are finding out this condition is called as Turner's syndrome. In the next slide, we will be seeing about the characteristic features of this particular syndrome. Coming to the clinical features of Turner's syndrome, we know the incident ratio, it is more prevalent in female, and the first and foremost symptom will be the short status. There will be low hairline. The person may show webbed neck, low posture of the hairline, cubitus valgus, broad chest with wider spaced nipple. They are of short status. They have a specific deformities in arithmetic skill, reading the map and drawing the diagrams, etc. They will be having difficulties. Mostly their genitalia will be rudimentary. There will be no menstruation. They may have a ventricular septal defect or the constriction of the aorta. Uh, there will be various abnormalities of urinary system also. They will be having small fingernails, shortened metacarpals, the elbow will be deformed, there will be poor breast development, there may be brown spots located. So these are all going to be the clinical features of Turner's syndrome. So for any genital deformities, there is no treatment. We may pacify, we may time being give treatments for them, that's all. So for this particular type, of syndromes, counselings may be given, estrogen replacement therapies can be done, and maybe the secondary sexual characteristics may be induced, though it affects the female. The female are they aren't sterile but can bear child with the help of in vitro fertilization. So now coming to the Klinefelter syndrome, here there is one more addition of a chromosome, that too in the sex chromosomes. There is double X and also Y present. So this syndrome genotype will be 47XXY, the Klinefelter syndrome. So what happens? The person will be developing more of feminine character, but it is prevalent in male. This particular slide shows the karyotype of the Klinefelter syndrome, wherein which you can see only where the sex chromosomes are located, you see a double X as well as a Y chromosome. So it is a interesting syndrome wherein which the male crowd or the personalities are affected more. It is not even rolled out before the adolescence age. When the patients may strike out is when they are married, when they are not having kids, they will come for infertility treatment. At that point only, they will be rolled out with this sort of uh, syndrome. Throughout that, the patient may not find any difference. There will be some changes in the physical appearances. Though the appearance of a person is normal, he is tall and having some degree of mental retardation. And this individual, particularly affected, will have small testes but normal penis and scrotum. The puberty fails to occur normally. Secondary sexual characters does not develop fully and the pubic and the facial hair are scanty. The gynecomastia or the enlargement of the breast in male is seen in many cases. There will be tendency to grow fewer of very few chest hairs, uh, like female type pubic hair will be developed, long legs will be there, widened hips will be there, narrower shoulders will be there. So these are all the clinical features of Klinefelter syndrome. Even for this sort of syndromes, we will be giving clinical counseling only. At the age of puberty, the treatment with testosterone will help them to develop secondary sexual characteristics. We have seen about the Turner syndrome and Klinefelter syndrome. Now coming to the trisomies. Here, the first condition is the trisomy 21, or it is also called as Down syndrome or Mongolism. Here, mostly the genotype is trisomy 21. What happens at the 21st chromosome? There will be 3 in numbers. It may be 47 plus XY or 47 plus XX. The extra 21 chromosome, that is 21 at the 21st level, 3 chromosome will be there. It is mainly due to non-disjunction during maternal meiosis, and this is going to be the karyotype of Down syndrome. Then and there, I am focusing on the karyotype pattern because during your practical examinations, only the karyotype picture, like how what you see in the slide, this sort of pictures only we will be displaying. With that, you should identify which one is what syndrome. In this slide, you can see at the 21st chromosomal level, there are 3 chromosomes. So, if it is at the level of 21, it is Down syndrome. The symptoms of Down syndrome are: the first one is mental retardation, epicanthal fold, and the flat facial profile. Epicanthal fold is nothing but the extra skin fold at the medial corner of the eye will be seen. Then protruding tongue always. The patient will be always having dental problem. Low set ears will be there. Abundant neck skin will be there. Will be folds in the neck present, and the single palmar creases. This is one of the main important clinical point of Down syndrome. Single palmar creases and epicanthal fold, protruded tongue, congenital heart deformities, umbilical hernia may be present. There will be gap between first and the second toe, and intestinal stenosis may be present. So these are all going to be the symptoms of Down syndrome. 40% of the child may suffer from major heart defects. The patient may be showing a flat face with small ears and sloping palpebral fissures. The incidence of leukemia and infections, thyroid dysfunctions, and premature aging can be appreciated in Down's syndrome. So the lifespan, the mean age is 16 years, and only the lifestyle modifications can be done for this particular syndrome. The next syndrome is Edwards syndrome or trisomy 18, the karyotyping of it, wherein which the 18th chromosome is triplet. Three chromosomes are present instead of a pair of chromosomes. It is prevalent in both the sexes, but most of this syndrome, there will be spontaneous abortion present, and the clinical features of it is unusual small head, back of the head is predominant, ears are malformed and low set, the mouth and the jaw are small, and small chin will be present. The child holds finger in a typical way due to abnormal insertion of the tendon. You can even see that in a very clear manner in this picture. There will be heart problem, and hypertonia may be present. Till now, we have seen about the numerical abnormalities of the chromosomal disorders, in which we have seen about Turner syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, Down syndrome, and Edwards syndrome. Edwards and Down syndrome are trisomy syndromes. Down's is trisomy 21, Edwards is trisomy 18, and Turner syndrome is monosomy, and Klinefelter is one chromosome more. So these four chromosomal abnormalities you should know to read the karyotype first. Normal karyotype you should know how it will be, and then coming to the abnormal karyotyping. With the karyotype itself, we should know what syndrome is that. Make sure you people are thorough about it. The structural abnormalities and the other details will be discussed in the next class. So as of now, thank you girls.